Monday night, man, at Bar Louie's. What about Bar Louie's? We don't talk about Bar Louie's enough.
We say something really nice about it early, and then that's about it. Monday nights, they've been awful nice to us. These ladies that have been taking care of us, I mean, they're like waiting on us.
I know.
They actually look like they look forward to seeing us. Which
I think they do. I mean, now that we've been described as pillars of the community.
I know. They smile, and they don't look like we're a nuisance.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great place. The food's great. The atmosphere is great. They got about 100 TVs. We're looking at them right here. The bar is really cool. So if you get a chance, and you're looking for a place to step out and get a couple of drinks, maybe eat some dinner, stop in and see the great people at Bar Louie's.
You people that are out of towners that come to South Bend, we're just north. It's just north of the mall, and right over here by Villa McCree's and the new McCree's area. That's right off of Gumwood. So north of Cleveland, you'll find it just real easy. But
that's a great place.
It snowed today, for heaven's sakes.
No,
we were in shorts for 5 days. It was in the 80s. And we wake up this morning, there's snow on the ground.
Well, it's Indiana, obviously, and South Bend because you get the lake effect. But you and me are working on my mowers yesterday in my garage.
Yeah.
I got shorts on, you got long pants, and I'm saying, wow. So I drive my mower back to the shed. I come back, I got icicles on me.
It's frostbite.
It's unbelievable.
Now, we won't tell them how we got the oil changed or anything like that.
No, because my wife doesn't even know how we got the oil changed.
Well, I'll just say we used a whole bag of kitty litter to help change the oil, if that gives you any idea about
my wife thought I got a cat, by the way.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I didn't. We're just soaking up oil. But, hey, here we are, man. This is like about maybe our 20-something episode.
We're in the 20s now.
And we have John.
How about 26?
We got Johnny Overmeyer spinning the dials. Every time I think of Johnny, I think of one of my favorite movies, Grumpy Old Men, with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. And Burgess Meredith is Jack Lemmon's dad. Burgess Meredith's like 95 in the show.
Right.
And he calls Jack Lemmon, who's probably about 70 in the show, he calls him Johnny all the time. Hey, Johnny, give me a pack of cigarettes, will you? Johnny, give me a couple beers, will you? Hey, Johnny, what are you having for breakfast? I'm drinking my breakfast.
Is that us now, the grumpy old men putting Budweiser on our Wheaties?
I don't think so, but every time I hear the word Johnny, I think of grumpy old men. So anyway, let's get rolling on this good show. We got some good information. We got Earl Keith, the great softball coach at St. Joe High School, who will obviously break down area softball for us.
We've got to work on spring sports a little bit, and since they didn't have a game today because there was snow on the ground.
I understand this is going to be the Anderson Liars Club tonight too, with him coming in here with you three Anderson Indians.
Don't even start.
Well, so Earl is an Anderson Indian.
Everything he says, I'm sure, will be true. Everything Earl says will be true.
If you guys believe that, yeah, okay.
Well, I might not have believed it a while ago, but since we've been talked about as pillars of the community, I do believe it now. Let's talk about those Chicago Bulls, man, for a minute.
We're going to talk NBA here for a while, huh?
The Chicago Bulls.
They're not playing. They got
Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan is the head coach. Billy Donovan supposedly has all this juice in the league and does a great job. I watched the Bulls probably 25 or 30 times this year. I do not get NBA basketball. So when I watch the Bulls play, it's all one-on-one. DeMar DeRozan backing his way down the court, Zach LaVine bringing the ball up. It's never 4 or 5 or 6 passes. And obviously they played the Miami Heat, who was well coached.
Yes.
Coach Spoelstra does a wonderful job. Pat Riley's the general manager. And I thought the Bulls had more talent. But I thought the Miami Heat coached them up better. And, I mean, it's not illegal to make 4 or 5 passes in the NBA, is it?
As long as you can do it in 24 seconds.
I mean, the Bulls don't make a pass.
They just play isolation ball.
It's isolation, and they have nobody going to the offensive boards, and they complain about that. In the post-game show, well, we don't have any offensive rebounds, blah, blah, blah. Well, no one's going to the glass.
It's because they're worried about transition defense.
Patrick Williams, 6'8", is in his 3rd year now. He was like the number 4 pick in the draft from Florida State. So I would tell Patrick Williams, get your rear end on the offensive glass and nobody going to the glass. Now, in the game against Miami in the third quarter, Andre Drummond, who's a rebound machine and has been for a lot of years in that league,
That's how he's made his
doing
living.
a great job. He's getting offensive rebounds. It's one and done for Miami because he's on the board on the defensive end. The Bulls are actually leading by 6 or 7. So we go into 8 minutes left in the game, and they bring Vooch back in. Obviously, they're not getting any offensive rebounds. And instead of bringing Drummond back in, maybe to help close the game out, all those stars get hurt if they're not finishing the game up at the end of the game. I would have had Drummond in that game. I would have told Zach Levine, stop shooting the ball because you're 3 for 30.
Right.
And I don't understand it.
But he's got the contract.
Well, he's got the $215 million contract. They traded away Lauri Markkanen, who's an NBA All-Star now with Utah. They traded away a kid named Max Strus, who had 32 for Miami or against the Bulls, and they got the big three. They got DeMar DeRozan, they got Levine, and they got Vooch. They don't know how to play together.
Yeah.
And Billy Donovan, they're 1 for 15. They score 1 point in the last 5 minutes of the game. Miami outscores them 15-1. So Colby White, the guard from North Carolina, he's made 3 threes in the game. He makes a big 3 in the fourth to put the Bulls up by 3.
Right.
He takes Colby White out and doesn't play him the rest of the game. So I know the NBA is a good old boys club, and I know that it doesn't matter if you're 3 for 20. It doesn't matter if you're the man. You're going to play out the rest of the game because those are your minutes.
Well, and like last night, I was watching the Clippers. You got Westbrook still shooting the ball.
3 for 19. He's 3 for 19 yesterday.
You've got Westbrook still shooting the ball. Why is he in the game when it's close? Because he's got a contract. He's got a contract, and he's supposedly the closer. He is the closer at 3 for 19.
Yeah, but they got Kawhi Leonard on that team. They got Paul George on that team, and for Russ to be going 3 for 19, that should never happen.
Well, and see, Westbrook needs to play well because Paul George is not playing right now. He's out, and I think they mentioned he will not play in this series at all. So Westbrook has to step up, and last night he was 3 of 19. So your man's Kawhi Leonard. He's the X factor. He's still pretty good.
No, Kawhi Leonard is really good. He's a really, really good player. So here's what I say with Billy Donovan. I say, and they're not going to do it because they just signed him to a contract extension. But I say Billy Donovan is like Doug Collins when Michael Jordan came into the league. Doug Collins coached him up, but Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause decided that Doug Collins is not the coach that can take these guys to the next level. Okay, it was Phil Jackson.
So is that where we are with the Bulls right now?
Yeah, so I think so, but I don't know how they can do it because they just signed Billy Donovan to a contract extension. And so if you remember back, Doug Collins was a darling coach in the NBA. He played for the 76ers. He had good pedigree, and they just pulled the rug out from under him. And Phil had coached in the CBA.
Right.
Was a coach of the Albany team. Won a couple championships in the CBA.
About him when he came in to interview. Remember?
Yes. Yeah. No, he came in to interview. He had a straw hat on, flip flops, a shirt, like a Hawaiian type shirt, and he didn't. They didn't hire him then. Then the second time he came, they hired him as an assistant coach.
Right.
And then they felt Phil Jackson is the guy to take us to the next level.
So do the Bulls bring somebody in this year as an assistant, and then do they pull the plug on Collins at Christmas time or something next year?
Yeah, I think they have to do something because the type of play that they're playing now, just one-on-one, Defensively, they're not great. They never change their coverage on ball screen up high. And I love the Bulls. I love Billy Donovan. I love Billy Donovan.
You're passionate about it.
But I'm so disappointed in either his lack of wanting to coach and, get the so-called stars upset at him. Mm-hmm. But coaching's coaching. Well, and I don't care what league you're coaching at. If you ain't getting it done, now, I could be wrong.
I still, every time you mention Billy Donovan, I still have this little sour note because of a situation I had with coaching back in the 90s when I interviewed for a job down at Cape Coral, Florida. I thought I had the job. I came back thinking, okay, they told me. I went out with a real estate agent, everything, was looking for houses at Mariner High School, Cape Coral, Florida. Came back, that's when I had Hunsaker Majerus helping me get that job. And I come back and I talked to Dick, and I said I feel good about it. I flew back in on Sunday and all that. And then Monday comes around, they call and said, we decided to go a different direction. Well, it turned out that Billy Donovan's high school coach had come down there Saturday and Sunday to move his son into an apartment and found out about the job and made a phone call evidently Saturday. And Sunday, he came in and interviewed on a Sunday, the day after I left town, and they offered him the job on the spot.
Yeah, that's just a name. So Billy Donovan's name was bigger than Rick Majerus' name, right?
Because Billy Donovan had just been named the coach at Florida.
Yeah.
If that gives you a timetable.
Yeah.
So you want to hear me try to explain to Majerus and Hunsaker how they got out-resumed.
Yeah, by Billy. Exactly.
By Billy Donovan.
Exactly.
And Patino.
Exactly. And that's a classic demonstration of how that works.
That's exactly how it worked.
Of how that works.
He was the fresh name at Florida at the time.
So let's take a look at the rest of the playoffs here now.
So tonight, here's your two games tonight.
Golden State against Sacramento from the West.
Right.
Sacramento leads that series 1-0.
Isn't it interesting? Sacramento's the 3 seed and Golden State's the 6.
Well, Golden State's played with injuries.
Sure.
Okay, you got Steph Curry.
When did they have everybody healthy?
Yeah, and you got Draymond Green, okay. And then Sacramento's an up-and-coming team, man. They're a nice team. So that's tonight, Sacramento against Golden State. Where's that? Is that at Golden State?
No, that's still Sacramento. The first two are at Sacramento.
All right, and then you got Philadelphia against Brooklyn.
Yeah, and the problem I have watching these games, I don't know if any of you people at home have picked up on this. The home teams are wearing dark colored jerseys, and the visitors are wearing white like football, and it messes me up.
You're easily. I'll say this much: you're easily messed up.
I was easily confused.
You're an easily confused person.
We grew up where the home team wears white jerseys.
I understand that.
And they're the top team in the bracket. I still have trouble with that in Indiana basketball.
So 76ers lead the Brooklyn Nets series. They won the first game 121-101, and I think that'll be a tough series for Brooklyn because I think Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
without question, is the most valuable player
those
again,
are
right?
both 3-6 games is what those are.
Yeah. So then.
And then tomorrow you got the 2-1-4s.
Okay, you got the 1-4s. You got Cleveland. You got Cleveland against the Knicks.
You got the 4 and 5. Yeah, you got the 4 and 5 games for tomorrow.
So you got Cleveland.
Nope, Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday.
So you got the Knicks versus Cleveland. The Knicks beat Cleveland 101-97. And Tom Thibodeau, really good basketball coach. And then you have against.
You got another early game. You got another East Coast game.
So you got Boston against Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Celtics are up 1-0, 112-80 or 99 over the Hawks. Trae Young wants out of Atlanta.
Right.
The talented guard.
And then you got the Clippers and Phoenix tomorrow night. That's a late game.
So that game kind of stunned people a little bit. Although Russell Westbrook was 3 for 19, the Clippers won that game 115-110.
Yeah, it was late. It was all late game stuff in the last.
And I think I think Kevin Durant still trying to work his way into that lineup a little bit, and how he plays with that team.
Yesterday was the 8th game he's played with that group, so
Yeah.
he's trying to figure out where he fits in.
Yeah, and you're talking. I mean, that's a good team. Booker is a good player. Chris Paul is a good player. And on paper, that team looks pretty good.
I know.
Paper, that team looks pretty good.
I agree.
Then you got the Nuggets, who beat the Timberwolves bad, 109-80.
Right.
The Nuggets take the lead in that series in the Western. And then the Lakers. So you take a look at the Lakers.
They're all of a sudden healthy.
Well, no. So LeBron and Anthony Davis and those guys, they'll play, maybe, 30 or 40 games. They'll sit out and they'll make sure they're healthy for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I don't think that's right because
they don't care that they're the 7th seed.
Yeah, because people come to pay good money to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And when LeBron and AD aren't playing, then those people are still spending that kind of money for those tickets.
Watch for sure.
But is it working in the playoffs for them? Will they have a chance to?
We're going to find out.
No, I think the answer to that is yes.
Well,
I think the answer to that, if they can stay healthy and LeBron and Anthony Davis can continue to play together, that the answer is going to be yes.
Now,
Austin Reeves.
Morant got hurt.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Austin Reeves played really, really well for the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you remember Brian Reeves when he played for Kokomo? He played for Basil Malby.
No, I don't remember that one.
That's his son.
That's his kid?
That's his son. His dad played for Kokomo.
Okay.
Dad played for Kokomo. And then we have the Heat and the Bucks. Giannis didn't play the first game. Heat wins. Jimmy Butler goes for 35 or 40. Jimmy Butler's still a good player.
Hero broke his hand for Miami. He's out.
No. Jimmy Butler's not out. Tyler Hero's out.
Tyler Hero's out.
Is a really good guard.
Shooter from Kentucky.
And he's out.
Yes.
But Jimmy Buckets.
Yes.
Jimmy Buckets can play still.
Yeah, he can still play.
He's strong. He's 6'6", 6'7".
The Bulls should have kept him.
Yeah, no, I think so too. But he wanted money, and he deserved money.
Right.
He should have gotten money.
They didn't want to pay him.
But Giannis didn't play in the first game, I don't believe.
Said he had some back issues.
And the Heat won that game, 130-117. If Giannis plays, it's over. It doesn't matter. It's over.
And those games are in Milwaukee, so they always say it's a playoff series when the visiting team wins a game.
Yeah, no, because then it evens the series up and it evens the home court up.
So they've already got their split.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, I like it when the playoffs are here. Mm-hmm. When the playoffs are here, and this basketball becomes physical, the play-in game with the Bulls and the Heat. The Heat defensively were just really, really good, and Eric Spoelstra is an outstanding coach, like I said before, and Pat Riley sitting in the crowd. Well, you got to coach him up with Pat Riley in the crowd.
Those were one-and-done games, just like the college play-in games. They were one-and-dones.
Yeah, and so for beating the Bulls, all the Miami Heat gets to do now is play the Bucks, right?
Get to play the Bucks.
Is to get to play the Bucks.
You're right.
So anyway. So when is the Packers and the Jets going to get this trade done?
Woo!
I mean, Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, but the Packers won. The Packers want a first-round pick next year.
Next week is the draft, so that's
And the Jets won a couple of second-round picks this year and a first-round pick next year. Now neither side's budging. Okay, neither side is budging on that. Does that deal get done?
At this point, I'm not even going to have a comment because it doesn't matter. I don't know. I think it will. But it won't surprise me if it doesn't.
I mean, one of those sides got to get done because the Packers have already said Jordan Love is our quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is not our quarterback anymore.
So come to the Colts.
Well, so it doesn't matter for anybody but Aaron Rodgers because if this deal doesn't get done, where's he going to play?
Yeah, he's a man without a team.
He's a man without a team. He's still getting paid. Mm-hmm. He's getting paid big money.
Does he care?
But no, I think he wants to play.
He wants to play.
I think he wants to play. one of the holdups for the New York Jets is they don't want to give up a ton, or they want some strings attached, because they give up a ton.
And he only goes 1 year.
And Aaron Rodgers retires after a year.
Then what?
Then you got to give picks back. So
it's a bunch of conditional things.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of a mess.
Well, and the other side, the next story I was going to mention on the way in here, I only heard part of it. I picked up part of it. OBJ supposedly he's going to the Ravens.
It's going to the Ravens, and the Ravens got their own problem.
Now, why would he go there if Lamar's leaving?
No, I don't think. Well, so Lamar can't leave because the Ravens put what is called a transition tag on Lamar Jackson, so he can't leave. Now the Ravens may have given him the opportunity to say, hey, see if you can find your own deal. But the Ravens hold all the cards.
Because all the Indianapolis people are still sitting there talking, can we get him as our quarterback?
Well, I think the Indianapolis people are going to get one of the two, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Now, that's a whole different story because, number one, Bryce Young has done it. He's done it. He's won a national championship. He's proved that he can make throws consistently over time. He's done it for a couple years. He's done it in big games. He's done it in any game. C.J. Stroud had a great playoff series this year,
right?
But he hadn't done it. I mean, he hadn't done it throughout the year. So I got to say he's your number one pick right there.
And then the Colts have just got to go find some linemen to protect him.
Well, so Bryce Young is going to the Jags. Okay, he's going to the Jaguars because they got the number one pick from the Bears. Okay, the number 2 pick is the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans are going to take Will Anderson, the linebacker or the defensive end from Alabama. I think the number 3 pick is the Cardinals. Cardinals got a quarterback.
Right.
Cardinals got Kyler Murray.
Right.
So I think the Cardinals will take a defensive player. So the Colts are at number 4.
I think they're sitting safe at 4.
And that leaves C.J. Stroud at 4. Now, you also got Will Levis, who's the quarterback in Kentucky. He's the guy that looks the part. He's 6'4", he's big, he's got all the intangibles. He's got the arm strength, he's got all of it. But he hadn't played, he hadn't got it done.
No.
He's Mitch Trubisky. Okay, Mitch Trubisky played 1 year.
Right.
Was a starter 1 year for North Carolina. The Bears trade up to the second pick to get him.
It didn't work.
El Bust.
El
Busto.
And he's been bounced around from team to team.
El Busto.
Yes.
And Anthony Richardson has won 6 games in his career for Florida. He's won 6 games. People are talking about Richardson being the overall number 1. How can you do that?
He doesn't have a track record
like the others. He's a great athlete, can run, strong, can throw the ball, but he hasn't done it like Bryce Young. So I think the Colts, I believe that the Colts are sitting pretty good, unless they feel the need to trade up to number 2, unless they start getting the vibe that the Texans will take a quarterback. Because the Colts need a quarterback.
They've got to trade up for that then.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. If that's what you got to do. So I'll tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to take a break. Johnny is played by 72-year-old Jack Lemmon. Burgess Meredith is his father on Grumpy Old Men.
And they're about to come here.
Grumpy Old Men. And Johnny, quit fighting over there. John Overmeyer's gonna take us to a break. We're gonna get the great, famous state champion coach Earl Keith in here. Anderson, a former Anderson Indian.
I'm not great.
We're gonna talk some stuff here, and
some of it might be true. So stay
John,
tuned.
Take us to break, and we'll get Earl in here.
Hey there. Coach's Corner currently is brought to you by ourselves, meaning we have no sponsors. So if you would like to become a sponsor, email john@broadcastsport.net. Or you can DM us on all of our social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube @IND Coaches Corner to learn how to become a sponsor. To find all of our archive shows, you can go to linktree.com/IND Coaches Corner or you can go back to the beginning of the video and scan the QR code. That'll take you right to our link tree. Now, back to the show.
Now we're ready to roll. We have a former Anderson Indian, the head softball coach, state champion last year, by the way.
State champion, yeah.
My alma mater. And we have Earl Keith here.
And you coached at my alma mater.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And he played at that alma mater.
I know.
The connections here are scary.
It's a scary scenario.
There's a lot of Anderson hillbilly stuff going on here, and I like it.
So when did you graduate from Anderson?
1978, allegedly.
Allegedly?
You got a diploma to prove it, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So Pat and I are 74.
Yeah.
So we graduated in 74.
Now, when they say numbers, I have to start figuring out which brother and sister he was involved. That
Yeah.
means you were with my sister,
We're Karen. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, and I heard you guys talking right before I came on. I got it all set for you. Golden State and Boston in the finals. Boston to win in 7. And I got Bryce Young going number 1, and Houston doing something really stupid and trading out of the number 2.
Well, so we talked about that. We talked about the Colts. The Colts have got, and Bryce Young is going to go number 1.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because Bryce Young has checked all the boxes. I mean, I don't care how big he is. I don't care how big his hands are. He has won at the highest level, and he played for Nick Saban.
Yeah, and don't tell Drew Brees and Fran Tarkenton that they were too little.
Yeah, no, exactly. So the question will be, will the Texans take C.J. Stroud, or will the Texans do something and take Will Anderson? That's what we talked about a little bit, and that's what's going on there.
I think the Colts do something and get the Houston's pick and take Stroud at number 2.
Make sure and get Stroud. Make sure they get him.
Yeah, because
that
I don't
might
think
happen.
It's better than the other 2 that they're trying to.
Well, so I think I think Will Levis is Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
Like 4 years down the line, he's got the body, he's got all the intangibles, but he played at Kentucky, for God's sakes, and didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah. He had a way better junior year than senior year.
And Richardson won 6 games.
Yeah.
In the SEC.
Yeah. And
great athlete. Great athlete.
Carl Lewis could have probably done what he did if he can throw a football.
Yeah.
Just he's such a great athlete, but I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback or not.
That's exactly right. So you graduated in 78.
Yep.
Stormin Norman, the head coach, or was Ray Estes the head coach?
Stormin Norman. Yeah, with the towel over the shoulder.
No, I know.
He was there during the Jimmy Shannon, David Moore.
Yeah, matter of fact,
boys.
I was the last one to get cut. It came down to me and Jimmy Shannon my junior year, and for some reason they let me go. I guess it's because I had a broken arm or something.
Oh, might have been
that. And Jimmy could really shoot. By the way,
Jimmy could shoot.
But he couldn't play a lick of defense. But not that I could.
Hey, Jimmy's listening, by the way.
Have you ever
Jimmy's listening.
How many coaches played defense in high school?
I know. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You don't get famous by playing defense.
I've been accused of that myself.
So speaking of Jimmy just retired, and Jimmy just had a heck of a career. A great coach at Lebanon, did great things, goes down to New Albany, and just has a great coaching career. Pat knows that more than anything because Pat played against him.
They'll name the gym after him.
Will they?
Oh, sure they will.
Yeah, I caught up.
He'll have his name on the court.
Yeah, I caught up on Facebook just recently about Jimmy and his family. I'm not on Facebook, but my wife is, and it came up somewhere along the friend thing, however that works. It came up, and I got to check out Jimmy and what he had done the last so many years.
Well, he had a farewell tour that rivaled Coach Krzyzewski's.
Yeah,
everywhere he went, he had presentations.
Yeah, and it should have been. It should have been that way.
Every opposing gym he went in, they gave him a rocking chair or
well, he can thank me.
Free voucher
he
somewhere.
Can thank me because since
you were the
cut
reason.
Me,
then
they kept Jimmy, or he might have given up basketball.
Well, it's funny because I used to say the same thing about Roy Taylor being Mr. Basketball that I had to guard him every day for 4 years.
Oh my gosh!
Hold on, and you played at Butler. Stop! You played at Butler.
I sat on the bench,
but you were on Butler's team.
Well, they had 11 basketballs and a seat cushion for warm-ups.
So you could have did what I did. All right. I went to Manchester College.
I know.
Great, just a small college place, and I was a bigger fish in a small pond. and I just had a blast. Now, you could have done that. You could have came to a place like Manchester, and you would have played.
Well, the only reason really I stayed at Butler was because my two brothers were in college, and Big Pat already said, don't do anything stupid because they're paying for this.
Yeah.
She said, I can't pay for three tuitions.
I was going to say, plus Butler, you get that, Butler
yeah,
degree. You
said,
might
you go
have Notre
someplace
Dame
else,
degree.
it's going to be your dime, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you a question about that Butler degree. What has that Butler degree got you, man?
It got me the chance to sit here next to
There you go.
You guys,
I like that.
You even came on the wrong night. It's $5 burger night tomorrow night.
We were here on Tuesday last week. They said we got to sit here. We had all kinds of people waving.
So let me tell you this, and I know you don't know this, but Ray Estes, Norm Held, and myself, we all lived on Corlett Way
Did you really?
in Anderson, off of Van Buskirk there.
Oh yeah, good old
Corlett
Van
Way.
Buskirk Drive.
Yeah.
I grew up shooting baskets in the at that one park on what'd you say the name of the road was?
Corlett. So you were off of Van Buskirk.
Van Buskirk,
Van
yeah.
Buskirk, yep.
Yeah, they had that park there.
That
Shot
was
there for years. That's
that
where
was
Jimmy
like-
Shannon and I played basketball together.
Skaggs lived like 3 houses down
exactly.
the street.
Yeah.
So Skaggs could
See
walk
these big
there, too.
redheaded kids coming over playing ball. I was like, oh boy, I'm not playing defense today.
That was the place.
All right,
Good games
let's talk about those Indians now. Now I know you've just had you've had a great program at St. Joe High School.
Yeah,
You've
had a lot of
coached
luck.
your brains out. You've had great girls. So what has been your secret to success? Because I know that it's not like you got your feeder system coming up through a junior high, because you have all the Catholic grade schools.
Right.
And those kids can go to Marion as well as St. Joe, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So what has been the key to your success and you being able to sustain that success at St. Joe?
Actually, it's really kind of cool the way it all has come about, because when I started, this is my 18th season with softball. The first 3 years we were sub 500. We had some decent athletes, but we would have like 2 or 3 good soccer players and a couple good basketball players and maybe one softball player. Well, then a few years later, we, for some reason, Marion was really good, and they had all the horses, and they were ranked number 1 3 years in a row. And guess what? Those 3 years, they never got out of the sectional, and we knocked them out of all 3 of those sectionals. And then all of a sudden, it was kind of odd, because then all of a sudden, girls that were on the fence of Marion, St. Joe, or Adams, Marion, St. Joe, whatever it was, it just seemed like, luckily, some of that talent started coming our way, and then it just kind of snowballed. And then they had these good players had siblings coming in, and like I said, because the feeder schools for us is really kind of odd, because there are some like 16 or 17 elementary schools in the area, and half of them are technically ours. Half of them are Marion's, and then there are 2, St. Anthony's and St. Pius, I believe, that can go either way. It doesn't mean the kids can't go to any school, but we can't talk to any of those kids from that feeder school. So we really just get out there and talk to as many kids as we can. We have a summer camp that has really seemed to do well with the little kids. We see them after 9, 10, 11 years old, and they like what they see and like what they're hearing. And but it's totally about the talent, and it's really hard to describe why it kept coming here, except for the fact that now we were winning. Well, not only were we winning, we were turning out a really stellar person. And for me, that's what we're all about. Is they're going to play softball maybe through high school. Some can play maybe through college. But they're gonna have this experience, and we try to make it as family oriented as we can. When they come to our place for an hour and a half practice, I don't know what they go home to, but I know that I'm going to try to help them enjoy that hour and a half that we're having practice. Now, we're going to get our work done. And luckily, I've had such competitive girls over the years that you don't have to push them as much as you do boys. I coached baseball first, and we used to have a running joke when I started doing softball. With the boys, we had to take the first month and break them down and tell them how bad they were. because they all think they're all that in a slice of cheese. Well, the girls.
So okay, let me interject. I say all that in a bag of popcorn.
Okay,
But cheese is good. I like cheese. I like cheese in that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, you don't ever talk to any of the girls like that. You just have to take a whole different approach. It's like, hey, Susie, that's been a good way to do it, but let's try this. It's just a whole different psychological mentality. And I had a couple of older daughters, and you had a daughter. It just, I don't know how you coach girls if you didn't have daughters, because it's just such a different mentality and feel. But I love coaching the girls because they are full of emotions. Now, on the flip side, I try to only hire female coaches because not only am I obviously a guy, but I'm getting older, if nobody noticed, but I'm getting older, and I always want to have assistant coaches that can relate to the girls, or the girls feel like they can.
Some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Any of the stuff. Even though I got to admit, I don't think there's anything that they won't say around me. But most of the time, it's just to test me. They're looking out of the corner of their eye, seeing how I'm going to react. And usually, I just don't react at all because I don't want them to think that I have any thoughts on that stuff at all. But they're really good. It's just fun. And these girls work so hard. We were talking about the Butler, Manchester, all that. With girls, there are so many opportunities for these girls because they are so talented. They could all go to college and get some form of money. They can play someplace. But these girls, they know they're not going pro, and so they actually figure out their life, what they need. Mm-hmm. Like when I went to college, Ball State, I knew I was going to play baseball and chase girls at age 18. And these girls all have a plan for their life. They know what they want to do, or they have an idea of where they want to do it. And if the college scene fits in for softball, it's great, but it really takes a back burner to what they want to accomplish. Now, I do have a couple of really good D1 prospects right now.
It helps to having the name starts with a Z, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. And the funny thing about those girls, they didn't know anything about softball till they met me 3 years ago.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like, what in the world?
Coaching.
Where have you girls been? No, honestly, these two girls in particular have been basically world-class athletes over their entire young lives. Through volleyball, swimming, and obviously softball, but they could really do it all. And we have 7 seniors this year that I promise you they could all play somewhere if they wanted to
at some level.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of them that are, and then we've got the rest of them who are already, they're having a good time with softball. They're still working their butts off, getting things done that they need to do, and having a good time with it. But chemistry is everything for our team. I think for girls especially, the successful programs, it has to have a lot of chemistry because you have drama with girls. It's everything just seems to be falling apart because then everybody's they're chirping behind the scenes.
The dugouts are no good.
It's no good, and it's like a cancer in there. So to be blessed with this group from last year and this year, since we only lost 2 seniors from last year. It's been amazing and truly a blessing for me.
So obviously, with you only losing 2 players from last year, so you had to move up a division. Mm-hmm. I mean, what do you see about this team this year? Are you good enough? Are you good enough now, maybe to make that same kind of run?
Yeah, I think we are. It's a cool thing. I think it's almost a little bit of a blessing for us to have to move up from the aspect of. Guess what? None of our girls are settling, for anything. And now it's
you have a new challenge.
We have a new challenge, and it's not only that, but you go from 3A where you had probably 5 to 10 just really good teams. Any of them could have won it. We were lucky enough to do it. You go to you move up to 4A. Now you're talking about there are 30 really good teams. I mean, you have Roncalli in Indianapolis. They're ranked number 1 in the nation, and it's just amazing to see. And Indiana right now is such a hotbed for softball, fast pitch pitching.
That's interesting.
Which is really cool because I get tired of hearing the crap where all the good players are out west. Well, guess what? I don't care how good those players are out west. They can't hit our girls here in Indiana. And we have one with Berkeley Zakay. There's a girl from Tri-West. That's a year ahead of Berkeley. That's highly ranked, and then the girl at Roncalli is ranked number 1 in the nation and signed, well, verbally with Florida when she was in 7th grade.
Now, who did you beat
In
last year?
7th grade.
Yeah,
Wow.
she verbal to Florida in 7th grade.
Who did you beat last year in the state finals?
Tri-West.
Tri-West, and
Yes.
that was that was a pitcher's duel, supposedly.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so
yeah.
that was the marquee game
Yeah.
as far as pitchers. What have you? How much has your schedule changed? You still have the same conference schedule.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done with your schedule this year? For your weekend games, have you done any different tournaments or different games or different teams?
It's not a whole lot different. We're going to 2 different tournaments because there are more 4A teams in those
Sure.
tournaments. But all along in all my tenure, we've always gone to everything that's as much 4A as we can because we figured that was the only way for us to get better, right? Is just, play better competition. So it's a little bit of an upgrade, but there's not much more that you could do with our schedule that we weren't already doing. Now we are getting in a big tournament this weekend in Kokomo, and we're playing a big one over in Twin Lakes. And a lot of that is I saw the teams that were in it, and a lot of it's just to play different big schools that we haven't seen to give us an idea of what we're
What
up
else
against.
is there?
Yeah.
What else I was going to ask? You've got those tournaments now. Sectional. Which sectional do they put you in?
We're in the Mishawaka sectional, and they bumped Penn out of Mishawaka over to Elkhart.
Okay, that was my next question. So, in this area, I've heard, I hear Penn, I hear St. Joe, and I've been hearing New Prairie.
New Prairie?
New Prairie are they 3A?
They're 3A.
So they're 3A.
Yeah.
So they're probably real happy that you got moved up.
Well, we played them last week, and I talked to your coach, and I don't think he was unhappy that we moved up, but. No, Derek's a good coach. He's been over there for I think 6 or 7 years now. He's done great things with that program, and it's like anything else. It's like going to Indiana, but you still cheer for your little sister Purdue when they're playing somebody else. It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Go
Let me
ahead.
ask
That's
you-
fine.
let me ask you about your
Neither
play.
one of us are IU Purdue. We don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
I hear some people in my earphones screaming right now.
Let me ask you a little bit about your own playing career. Did you play at Anderson High School? And was Pete Danforth your coach?
I played at Anderson High School, and Pete Danforth was
God, I love Pete Danforth.
I love Pete too. I learned to love him more when I was out of there. Probably the reason that I wanted to get into coaching and do what I do because I was more influenced by our assistant coach Rick Eads.
Sure.
He was there.
You had some good ones.
Yeah, he taught driver's ed at the school, but he was just a great guy. But he was Pete was pretty lenient in, I would say, his style, and Rick was the opposite. Rick was the one that drilled us.
That was a good cop, bad cop. Then.
Yeah, exactly. And Rick, man, he was really good at pounding on what we were bad at, and and he would, and I think that's kind of what I get in the summertime. I tell all the girls that everybody likes to hit. Okay, so this summer when you're away from me, if you go out and take 200 cuts, make sure you're taking 200 ground balls or fly balls, and that was what Rick Eads did for us. He knew if you couldn't go to your left, well, the next day you were taking 50 ground balls just going to your left.
What position did you play?
Third base and shortstop.
I thought you were going to say catcher because I'm looking at your hands. You got fingers going every which way, every direction. He was a catcher.
Yeah. Well, I played a couple of years at Ball State from after that, and then when I came out of college, I got picked up on a men's fast pitch team, and I was 22 years old, I think 21 or 22, and I had never seen a fast pitch softball game, and I walked up there to the team that invited me to come play, and I walked up and I almost drove away because they told me I was going to be playing third base, and I'm like, they play like 15, 20 feet from home plate. I thought, these people are crazy.
They're idiots, yeah.
Well, the good part was when I went out there, the coach put me at short and kind of ticked off the other guy that was playing short, and it worked out real well. Anyway, so I played for like 23 or 24 years, men's fast pitch softball, and the last 10 I caught all the time.
Started accumulating.
You can see a catcher's hands. Fingers are going out. Fingers are going in.
That's what Pete Danforth's hands look like.
Yeah,
He was a
exactly.
catcher.
All right, let me ask you this question about Pete. How many times Pete lighting them cigarettes up in the dugout?
Oh my God!
In the dugouts?
And it's funny. It's funny nowadays because if you we couldn't chew tobacco legally
Right.
because we weren't of age. But, we would chew tobacco every now and then at the end of the in a practice.
We'd roll it up in bubble gum.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what we did was we waited till Pete lit up his cigarette in the dugout because we knew he was taking a break. So then we'd get a little, pouch going down there between the cheek and gum. But nothing major. But
Because that was back when the mail pouch bubble gum.
Yeah.
Bubble gum came and look, you couldn't tell the difference. You just roll it up and put it.
Yeah.
So you could fake. Pete was my cousin.
Oh, really?
Pete and my dad were cousins.
Oh my God! Oh, I think you're related to everybody in Anderson, aren't you?
The Delphs.
That's kind of how Anderson is, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
The family trees don't have too many branches.
we got a lot of Tennessee in us.
Well,
don't we?
think how many teachers' kids were at school when you were there. I mean, we were there was 20 some of us.
Yeah.
I mean, there was all kinds of teachers' kids.
Man.
We had you couldn't do anything wrong because there was always somebody around going, giving you that look because you knew that
No, Bob Freeman. How about big Bob Freeman, man?
Oh, I know. and see, Rhoda was there when we were there. His daughter.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Yeah, we grew up with Rhoda. So yeah.
So
during my 18 years at Anderson, Pete and I became really, really good friends, and Pete almost became a mentor to me from the side of, Ron, you're so intense, man. You need to kind of slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Rick Eads was the strength coach at Anderson when I was there.
Yeah.
Rick and Jerome Foley, they used to hit the weights every day. Those are names.
Yeah.
Those are names out of the past that I still. I mean, those guys are still in my heart, man.
Oh yeah. Good. It's good people, and I'm really glad that I came out. Came out from Anderson, but because it was great growing up there and had a lot of commonality going on with a lot of people down there, and it was a different time though, because when I was a kid, everybody worked for the General Motors plants, and the place was flourishing, and
there were softball, adult leagues everywhere,
man, all over the place. Fast.
No, they were doing tip boards on the softball league, man.
Yeah, fast pitch softball was a big deal. I remember going out and watching.
They were betting on them.
Church leagues. I remember going out to Shady Side Park all the time with my dad growing up.
Oh yeah.
What brought you up to South Bend then?
I married a beautiful lady from Mishawaka. Claire Grocky was her maiden name, and like I said, she was from Mishawaka, and so we knew that when we came out of college, we wanted to go to Indy for a couple of years, but we knew that when we started having children, we wanted to come up here because we were both Catholic. And even though Claire went to Mishawaka, she was a public, as she calls herself. But we knew we wanted to get into the Catholic school system with our kids. And I was still playing fast pitch softball. I didn't even start coaching until my oldest daughter was 14. And had decided where we didn't have the loyalties.
And that's when I bumped into you with driver's ed.
Yeah, that's right. Because you came to my house to pick up my
your
daughter.
daughter.
I said, "Who is this old man picking up my?" And then I looked. Oh yeah, he's got the driver's ed. He's got the driver's ed.
That's what the Kings do, right?
They're still saying that about him. Trust me, they're still saying that
Big
about
Pat
him.
was over there in the driver's ed in the Reynolds building, driver's ed with the rest of them.
But no, that's why we moved up here, and we've really loved it up here. And our kids flourished. Obviously, we went to St. Joe. But what I was starting to say, we didn't have any loyalties. When my daughter,
right.
I mean, my daughter and my wife, they toured Marion, they toured St. Joe because we were coming out of St. Anthony's, and we toured Clay because it was right there. And just through all that, our oldest daughter picked where she was going to go to school, and then 2 months later, I went and put an application in for coaching just because I didn't even know how it worked up here. And I tried to get into softball right away, but they had a guy that they'd had and wasn't retiring. And as a matter of fact, as I was leaving the interview, I had the baseball coach, Dave Luchkowski. He chased me out in the parking lot and said, "Hey, we don't have anything for something. Do you know anything about baseball?" I said, "Well, I played a little bit, and I played a couple of years in college." And he said, "Come on," and so I was hired as the JV baseball coach at the beginning. I did that for 4 years,
sure.
and then so it was just fun.
St. Joe is just a really, really special place. I mean, my whole family went to St. Joe High School, and the religion part of it, the family part of it, the camaraderie part of it, and I gotta believe today that it's still somewhat like that with all of the families, the same families there. And, John Kennedy does a great job running the school, right?
Oh, yeah, he does.
I think he does.
Yeah, and Stephen Anthony, the new athletic director, and I'll tell you what.
I tried to get that job, a couple times.
I know you did. I wrote a letter for you.
I love that letter, too, by the way.
Yeah, and because and
you got it laminated, right?
No, they said that's why you didn't get the job. Earl wrote that letter, man.
Well, the guy, the unsung hero at St. Joe High School right now, in my opinion, is John Gump. He's the assistant athletic director.
He's good. John's
this
awesome.
Guy, he is, and he just goes through and he makes sure everything's taken. Stephen Anthony does a great job. I don't mean anything by that, but I mean John's the guy that takes care of all the little things. He makes sure everybody's got their buses, their schedules, and all that kind of stuff. So I can never thank John Gump enough for all he's done for the coaches at St. Joe High School.
So in your sectional this year, give us a little preview of the teams.
Well, you know what? I'm not really sure who's in it other than I know Mishawaka's in it.
Brian Miller does a great job in Mishawaka. Right?
Brian's like a brother from
I
another
love
brother
Brian
from me.
Miller.
Yeah, he's a good
dude.
dude.
Did a lot of games together.
Yeah, and I know, and LaPorte is in it. They're always a
maybe the same
team,
as the
but,
basketball one. Michigan City, LaPorte, Adams.
Yeah,
Mishawaka.
Yeah, Adams, yes.
Maybe Mishawaka.
Mishawaka is. LaPorte is.
Maybe Michigan City.
No, it's not Michigan City. It's one. It might. I don't remember. I don't remember who the
Is
fifth team
Is Riley?
No, Riley went down.
They're down.
We went up. Riley went down.
Okay.
Yeah. Every time somebody goes up, somebody qualifies to go down. So, yeah.
Well, it's been great. It's been great having Earl on here now. He's a pro. He's done this his whole life. He's an Anderson guy. He's one of us, right?
Yeah.
I'm the one sitting at this table that's a transplant.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't born and raised in Anderson, but I stayed there for 18 years.
You were kind of there as long as we were.
That counts for something, right? That counts for something.
You're right. He's right. You were there as long as we were.
Basically.
That's exactly right.
Then we got the heck out.
Yeah. No.
Well, as soon as the factory started closing, it was time to go.
Yeah. There was no place to go.
And Pat and I,
we're hillbillies from way back right here.
And Pat and I always talk about why Pat came here and didn't go back to Anderson. After he stopped his coaching days. Mm-hmm. Pat did a great job here at South Bend Adams.
Oh yeah,
was a great high school basketball coach for 15 years. And then I remember talking to Pat on the phone. Pat telling me he's going to take that Madison job, and I said, Pat, we need to chat about this a little bit. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
And Pat goes down there, wins 15 games his last year, does a great job. They get sideways with Pat because I don't know how Pat could get sideways with anybody because he's such a wonderful person.
Yeah. Well,
and he's back.
The mayor's grandson.
It's always something like that.
It was playing time.
It's always something like that.
Playing time. Don't you just love that old question about playing time?
Playing time. I had the wrong people on the floor.
Yeah. That's a great thing too about part of the coaching is you have to let people know ahead of time that playing time isn't discussed with parents. That's what we do in our parent meeting. It's like, hey, I'll talk to Susie, all day long, but if she, but it's just a learning curve. Want them to mature.
Don't meet me at the fence on the way out.
Yeah. We want the kids to mature along the way, and we'll get the answers, for them, either way. But we want them to have the wherewithal to be able to come to us, to talk to us, and just to be able to ask us anything they want. And then what I always also tell parents is, if you're going to ask me something, don't be afraid of my answer because you may not like it.
Exactly.
They want it to be all rosy, but at the high school level, you just can't do that. You don't have to be mean about it. But you can't sugarcoat it. You got to tell them the truth.
And softball's not as subjective a sport as some others because it's concrete numbers.
Yeah.
It's numbers right here. Here's what you're hitting.
Yeah.
Here's the number of errors on the pitcher's mound. Here's what you're doing. And if the numbers don't add up, then it's NGE. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're not good enough.
Yeah, exactly. But it gives us a chance for to move in, to bring up some JV players every now and then, and we can work them in and see how things are going. And it just kind of eases everything too, to give everybody. Then they kind of feel like they're truly part of your program, But some, it's the thing is that what some people get hung up on is they say that practice makes perfect and I hate that they say that, because practice doesn't make you perfect. Practice just gives you your best chance to be the best you can be. And, sometimes it's just not good enough when you get to be 16, 17, 8 years old.
So when you said that, when you just said that, I mean, I've been on this rant now about blue chips for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So you sounded just like Pete Bell when you said, and it wasn't good enough for you guys. we won this, but it wasn't good enough for you guys. So we had to go out and we had to get Neon a car. Neon didn't even want a car. Put your house.
We've heard this script for 3 weeks.
That takes me back.
Stop.
Hey, so I want to tell you, thanks for coming on here.
We didn't even talk about like travel ball or anything like that, so we'd stay away from that. That's very good.
That's okay.
But the first maybe half of our shows here, this is our 26th, so the first 13 shows, we were referred to as slaps. 2 slaps here running this. And then we got Aaron Wolf on there, head coach at Northwood. Yeah. And Aaron Wolf says, you two guys are the pillars of our basketball community here. Now all of a sudden, now we're not slaps, we're pillars, right?
Yeah, because the guy that wins the state championship calls us pillars. And we got some NIL stuff, too, from Northwood.
Oh, that's the next best thing. We're all going to make a little money off of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Sorry we didn't get to our questions. We just had a great run here with
Does this surprise you that we started talking with Earl like that?
Not a surprise at all.
Okay, just checking.
As I said, it was the Anderson's Liars Club.
Do you have 30 seconds left?
So next Tuesday.
Ask Earl. He's going to answer the one about one of your questions.
No, one of the questions.
We'll just put him on the spot. Give him the Notre Dame one.
Oh, the Notre Dame one? Which one was that?
But quarterbacks.
Oh, yes.
No, there are too much there's too many stories about them in the Tribune. Is that your question?
No, the question is, what is your opinion of college coaches naming a quarterback in the spring and not having the competition in the summer?
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, just because
Kirby Smart already named his.
Yeah, but why would you? I mean, you're tying yourself to that one guy. What if he doesn't get any better, or just now he slacks off?
Or he gets hurt.
Or he gets, anything.
I was just told to ask the question,
That's
guys.
Stupid.
It's all about competition.
That's why we brought it. That's what Earl Keith's the one that said that. That's our disclaimer.
Take that competition into the fall.
All part of the Anderson Liars Club tonight here at Bar Louie.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. So we're going to be on the show next Tuesday.
Correct.
Next Tuesday. Hopefully, maybe from the Four Winds Field. We're still trying to work that out.
And we've got one coming up on Thursday. We're going to do a remote Thursday, and it'll be available sometime Friday. So we got all kinds of fun stuff coming up. We're going to talk with Allison Hayes Thursday about the Notre Dame spring game Saturday.
Yeah.
That's Thursday.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, ask her all your Notre Dame questions.
Exactly.
Questions.
Thanks for coming in, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Good job.
Thank you.